The day the taps run dry, almost everyone around you will believe the water is gone. They will be wrong. Here is the piece I will hand you for free right now. There are 30 to 50 gallons of clean drinking water hiding inside your water heater tank at this very moment, sitting in a tank that most people never think of as storage, and later in this video, I will show you exactly how FEMA says to get it out safely, because doing it wrong can burn you or wreck the tank. But that is the small secret. The bigger one is a plain steel tool called a sillcock key, about the size of your palm, that costs around $10 at any hardware store. Maintenance workers carry it every single day, and it opens a water source that exists on nearly every commercial building in America. Thousands of them in your town alone. A source that stays full even when the power and the pressure fail. Most preppers have never even heard its name. By the end of this video, you will know what it is, where it works, and the one legal rule you must respect before you ever use it. So let's start with the water you already own, because your emergency water supply is bigger than you think. Here is the reframe that changes everything. You have been thinking of your house as a place that receives water. It is actually a water storage system that came pre-filled, and you have been living inside it this whole time. So take a quick inventory with me, and every item on this list comes straight from FEMA's own emergency guidance, which means this is official, not some internet trick. FEMA recommends 1 gallon of water per person per day as the baseline for survival, and that number comes straight from ready.gov. Most families cannot store that much long-term, which is exactly why knowing what you already have matters so much. The biggest reserve is your water heater, that tank in the garage, the basement, or the closet, quietly holding 30 to 50 gallons of clean, treated drinking water, and some of the larger tanks hold as much as 80. Then there is the plumbing itself. Every pipe running through your walls is full of water right now, and there is a simple trick to get all of it out. Your freezer is holding water too, in the form of ice you can melt and drink, as long as it was made from clean water. Even your canned goods carry a hidden reserve, because the liquid packed with your fruits and vegetables counts. And yes, there is one more source people always joke about: the toilet tank. The tank on the back, never the bowl, and only under conditions I will spell out in a few minutes. Add it all up, and a typical family home is holding 50 gallons or more before you count a single stored bottle. So let's get it out safely, starting with the big one. Your water heater is the single largest emergency water supply you own, and FEMA publishes the exact procedure for tapping it. But there is an order to the steps, and the order exists to protect you. So please hear the first one clearly. Before anything else, turn off the power to the tank. If it is electric, flip its breaker. If it is gas, turn the gas control off. This is not optional, and here is why. If the tank drains while the power is still on, the heating element inside can burn itself out in minutes, and then you have no hot water even after the emergency ends. The same rule applies in reverse, and FEMA says it plainly. Refill the tank completely before you ever turn the gas or the electricity back on. Second warning, the water in that tank can be scalding hot. Give it time to cool, and wear gloves and eye protection when you work the valve, because a hot splash at the drain is a real injury risk. Now the procedure itself, and it is simple. Close the water intake valve at the top of the tank, so nothing questionable flows in. Open any hot water faucet somewhere in the house, which lets air into the system so the tank can drain smoothly. Then open the drain valve down at the bottom of the tank and catch the water in clean containers. That is it. 30 to 50 gallons, sometimes more, on demand. If you want purpose-built containers for exactly this situation, Products like the water bob, which is a large food-grade bladder you fill in a bathtub, or a sturdy aquatainer jug, are worth having on hand before an emergency like a hurricane or earthquake hits your area. One important note before we move on. If your home has a tankless water heater, one of those small wall-mounted units, there is no tank and no reserve, so you need to know which type you own today, not on the day the taps stop. And if your tank sits in a hot garage, everything I told you in my video about summer heat applies to the containers you catch that water in, so store them somewhere cool. Now for the trick almost nobody knows about, the water sitting in your pipes. When the pressure dies, that water does not vanish. It just sits there, trapped in the lines, waiting for someone who understands gravity. Here is FEMA's method, and it takes about 30 seconds. Go to the highest faucet in your house, maybe an upstairs bathroom, and open it. Only a trickle will come out, and that is fine because its job is simply to let air into the plumbing. Then go to the lowest faucet in the house, a basement sink, a ground floor tap, even an outdoor spigot, and open that one. Gravity pushes the water in the lines down and out, and you collect everything your walls were holding. But there is a protective step that comes first, and this one matters. If you hear reports of broken water mains or sewage lines in your area, shut off your home's main water valve immediately before you drain anything. That valve is the gate that keeps contaminated water from being pushed into your clean pipes by a failing municipal water system. It is usually in the basement, the garage, or the crawl space. And here is your first homework assignment. Go find it today, and make sure every adult in your home can find it too, because the moment you need it is the worst possible moment to go hunting for it. Then round out the picture with the small reserves. The ice in your freezer can be melted and consumed if it was made from clean water, and moving it into a cooler lets you keep the freezer shut. The liquid in your canned fruits and vegetables is drinkable, and the toilet tank, the reservoir on the back, never the bowl, is listed by FEMA as usable only if the water is clear and you have never used chemical cleaners in it, the kind that turn the water blue. If you use those tablets, that water is off the table permanently, and even when it qualifies, you treat it before you drink it, which I will cover in a few minutes. Before we get to the key, we need one short, serious list. The water in your home you must never drink, no matter how thirsty things get. This comes straight from FEMA, and every item is on the list for a reason your stove cannot fix. Swimming pools, hot tubs, and collected rainwater are for hygiene and cleaning only. Washing, flushing, scrubbing, never drinking because of the chemicals and the contamination they carry. The water inside radiators and boilers, meaning your home heating system, is never drinkable. It is full of treatment chemicals and metals. Waterbeds are out too because the fungicides and the vinyl chemicals leach into the water. And here's the principle underneath all of it, the one that keeps people alive. Boiling kills germs, but boiling cannot remove chemicals. If water is contaminated with fuel, solvents, or treatment chemicals, no amount of boiling makes it safe, and FEMA says that if you suspect chemical contamination, do not try to boil or disinfect it at all. Germs can be defeated in your kitchen. Chemistry cannot. Keep that one line in your head, and it will steer you right every time. And now, the tool I promised you. The next time you walk past a grocery store, a school, a strip mall, or a highway rest stop, look low on the outside walls. You will find water spigots, the same kind you have at home, with one strange difference. No handle. Just a bare metal stem where the handle should be. Those handles were removed on purpose to stop vandals and water thieves, and most people walk past them their entire lives without a second glance. The tool that operates them is called a sillcock key. It is a steel cross about the size of your palm with 4 different size sockets, one on each arm. 1/4 inch, 9/32, 5/16, and 11/32. Those 4 sizes fit nearly every valve stem in America. You slide the right socket over the bare stem, you turn it like a handle, and the spigot works exactly as if the handle were still there. It costs about $10 at Home Depot, Lowe's, or online. It weighs a few ounces and it fits in a glove box or a kit without you ever noticing it is there. Now here's the part that makes this genuinely powerful in a grid-down emergency, and it is simple physics. Commercial buildings run their water pipes overhead across the ceilings. When the pressure dies, gravity and airlock trap enormous amounts of water in those elevated lines, and it just sits there. The perimeter spigots, the ones with no handles, are the low points where that trapped water can come out. So while everyone else sees a dead building, you would be looking at a full tank wearing a disguise. This week, walk one shopping center parking lot and count the handleless spigots you find. Once you see them, you will see them everywhere for the rest of your life. Now the rule, and I am putting it right here in the middle of the video, not buried at the end, because owning this tool responsibly is the entire point. Those handles were removed specifically to prevent unauthorized use, which means opening a spigot on a building you do not own without permission is taking someone else's water, and depending on where you live, that can be water theft, trespassing, or both. A $10 key does not change the law. So here is the responsible frame, and it is how I want you to think about this tool. First, your own property. Many home spigots use the very same square stems, and plenty of people remove their own handles to keep neighborhood kids from flooding the yard, so the key is simply the handle you keep in your pocket. Second, permission. A neighbor's building, a landlord's property, a business owner who says yes, all fair game. And third, a true life safety emergency, the kind of disaster where your family's survival is on the line, the same kind of moment where you would break a window to escape a fire. That is what this tool is actually for. It is not for saving a few dollars on water on some ordinary Tuesday. Know your local laws, and in a declared disaster, follow what your local authorities say about water use. Here is the way I look at it. The value of the sillcock key is not that it lets you take anything. It is that you now know where the water is, and you are equipped for the day when using it lawfully might save your family. That knowledge alone puts you ahead of almost everyone in town. One habit ties this whole video together. Any water that has been sitting in your tank, in your pipes, in a building's lines, gets treated before it gets trusted. Water that sat in plumbing for days or weeks is not the same as water flowing fresh from a working system. The gold standard, straight from FEMA and ready.gov, is a rolling boil for 1 full minute. That kills the germs that cause the diseases you truly do not want in a disaster. If you cannot boil plain unscented household bleach at 8 drops per gallon, or about 1/8 of a teaspoon per gallon, is the FEMA-approved backup ratio. For longer-term storage, pool shock, which is granular calcium hypochlorite, is a more concentrated and shelf-stable alternative worth researching. And if you have no bleach and no fire, portable options like a Life Straw or a Sawyer filter can handle biological threats in a pinch, though they do not replace chemical treatment for heavily contaminated sources. For gravity-fed home filtration, a Berkey filter is the unit most serious preppers keep on the shelf, and it handles a wide range of contaminants without electricity. And here is where this video joins hands with the rest of the water series, because if your bleach has been sitting in the garage for 2 years, it may already be too weak to protect you, and that is an entire video of its own, linked below. Keep the decision simple. Water that is clear from a clean source and treated, you drink. Water that is cloudy, you let it settle, you filter it through a coffee filter or a clean cloth, and then you treat it. And water with any chemical or fuel smell, you never drink, because as you now know, no treatment on Earth fixes chemistry. So let's turn everything into a plan you can finish this week, and almost all of it is free. Tonight, find your main shutoff valve and show every adult in the house where it is. While you are at it, take a look at your water heater. Figure out whether it is a tank or a tankless unit, find the drain valve at the bottom, and find the breaker or the gas control that powers it. Because knowing those three things turns a 30-minute panic into a 2-minute job. This week, put a sillcock key in your kit or your glove box, $10 done, and set aside 2 or 3 clean containers for catching water. If you want dedicated storage, a water bob or a set of aquatainer jugs are inexpensive and purpose-built for exactly this. And on your next errand, do the parking lot exercise. Spot the handleless spigots and start seeing your town the way a prepared person sees it. Then keep the decision tree simple. If the city water fails but your house is intact, your pipes and your water heater come first, and that is 50 gallons before you ever touch your stored supply. If there are contamination reports, the main valve gets shut immediately, and you live off the water already inside your home. And if you are away from home in a genuine crisis, you now carry the knowledge and the key that turns buildings everyone else has given up on into water sources used lawfully when it truly counts. So here is the truth at the center of all of it. The day the taps run dry, the water will not actually be gone. It will be hiding in your water heater tank, sitting in your walls, frozen in your freezer, and waiting behind a bare valve stem on every commercial building in town. And now you know what almost nobody else knows: how to reach it, how to treat it, and the rules that come with it. Everything I showed you today comes from FEMA's own published guidance, and the sources are linked down below. So here is your challenge, and it costs you nothing. Tonight, before you forget, go find your main shutoff valve and your water heater's drain valve. 5 minutes, $0, and your family's water plan stops being an idea and becomes something real. And when you are ready for the rest of the water plan. This video is one of 3. How to store water the right way and why the bleach you stored for emergencies may already be useless are both waiting for you right here.